What's up?
Hello, how are you?
Did you just hit a session?
Yeah.
How'd that go?
Ah, went fine. It's day one, so feeling good.
Day one of what?
Of three.
Okay, nice. Are you three on, one off?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're pretty hardcore, like traditional CrossFit. I like it.
Yeah.
You play around with the zone diet too, right?
It's been 8 years.
Damn. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who do you track your own quantities or do you have okay, you
Yeah,
mess
it's
with
been I mean it's very simple. Zone is you just have to learn how to play with the blocks because for some it's new, but once you get the hang of it, like it's very simple, it's very easy. Like and I'm honestly I eat almost always the same stuff, so I know by heart like what one block of chicken is, so it's just easy
roughly how
to
many
calculate it.
blocks of protein a day do you eat?
I'm 25, 25, 75.
Damn, 25, 25, 75.
Yeah.
That's awesome because you know what? Like so many people shit on the zone and the concept over the years. But we personally, and as you've talked about, you've been doing it for 8 years, we in CrossFit saw a lot of good results from it and saw
Yeah.
people make improvements, see performance improvements, and that's why we recommended it. You're able to look at the macronutrient breakdown and tweak it to where you're actually improving your results.
Yeah. The goal is to have it simple. Like nutrition for many is it just sucks. Like it's difficult. You hear me well?
Yeah, I hear you fine.
Okay. Okay. Because I'm almost outside and there's some cars and that are coming by, but yeah. I mean, zone is just so simple,
Yeah,
and
it really is.
it makes it easier on people's minds. I understand that when you compete, like you want something maybe that feels more precise, but you make it as precise as you want. Like you're the one in charge of how much chicken you put on the scale, and you just have to figure out by yourself. And that's why, like, for me, I'm not going to change, not before I retire, because I've been doing it for so long and I know how much I need to eat, and I know if I eat less of that or less of that, it's going to feel like shit the next day. So it's just consistency, again, is the key part of success nutrition wise.
Speaking of consistency, you're one of the most consistent, I feel like, recent athletes at the games. Like you're pretty much, you don't have many weaknesses and you're just like
I've
always
got
near the
some.
top. What would you say is one then?
Uh, it really depends on the programming. Honestly, this semifinal was it was a good test for me because it was a lot of machines and the workouts always like the machine workouts they started on the machine,
Yeah.
and it makes it against the field that I was in makes it really difficult. Like you have to send it for the first
Yeah.
few, like you have to send it from the start and hope that you'll hold on, which is something I didn't do at semifinals, and I think I could have done better. So yeah, that's going to be my challenge at the games, like because if there's any sort of consistency in programmings from semifinal to the games, like I think the workouts will most likely start on a machine, and then you'll have to survive the rest of the workout.
What you volunteered your first time at the games, right?
Yeah,
You were
16 and
volunteer.
17.
You volunteered 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Medeiros, I just had an interview with him a few days ago. He volunteered at the games once. Neil Maddox, way back in the day, he volunteered. So
Nice.
that's pretty neat to see a number of you who volunteered and then go on. What did 16 and 17, and then did you qualify 18?
No, no, 18. I so 17. I almost qualified for regionals, and then
Okay.
18 was my first year at regionals.
Okay.
And I what I told Caroline then is the next time I'm going to the games was as an athlete. I'm not going again until I qualify for it, and it took a year, so I'm pretty lucky. But yeah, so I didn't want to go in 18, but she did. So she went. She volunteered for a few years back to back on the media team.
Yeah, I remember her being out there. And then so 19 was your first year?
Yeah, yeah. I
And then
did
you've
four
been
workouts.
every year since.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah. And then obviously the win.
yeah.
The Canadians, the other two, Valner and Fikowski, they really look up. Let me say, they really speak highly of your abilities. Like they know you're you're legit. They
Yeah.
were they were they were telling me about you before you won. How good you were.
Yeah, well, I've competed against Pat a few times before the games. Like he was like back in 15, 16. He came to school here in Montreal, so we did a few comps together, and I was at my beginnings like back then. But yeah, I've had a few competitions against him. So, and yeah, every year just a little bit better until I started beating him. I don't know if he's pissed about it, but it is
How
what
old are
it
you?
is. I'm 30.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not in the young guys.
Yeah. It's like you're peaking a little later, which
Yeah.
is working well for you.
Well, I think so. If you look at my finishes throughout like the last years, like I've been consistently getting better every year. So
Yep.
yeah, I'm peaking now because it took me 6 years to get there. Like I didn't do the same curve of improvement as the others. I wasn't as young. Like I was 20 years old, but the sport was different. Like in
Yeah.
16, 17, the sport was different than it is today. So yeah, I'm
Yeah. It's
happy where I'm
wild.
at.
It's wild now how many of the younger guys started when they were like young in their teens,
Yeah.
and they have a big foundation now underneath them. Where are you? Is that your affiliate?
Yeah, that's my gym.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
What time do you guys have classes today?
So we're lucky we have two spaces now since December. So I have a bit more leeway with my schedule. But on we have like another space in the same building, and we have classes all morning, midday, and all evening. 7 or 8 hours of classes a day.
And so this area right here that we see, this is more like a private side for you.
It's not a private side. It's more of it's half and half. So we do specialty classes on this side. So anything
Okay.
that's not typical CrossFit, so
Yep.
conjugate, bike
Yep.
ergs, cardio, endurance, gymnastics, whatever.
Yep.
And we have less of those. So it lets me be a bit more free with my own schedule.
And Caroline, she coaches a lot, right?
And she doesn't, not anymore.
Okay.
She programs a lot.
She programs a lot. She just passed her
Yeah,
level 4 though recently.
yeah, she
Congratulations.
did. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Do you
That's pretty awesome.
do you ever coach?
I do not anymore. But I used to coach a lot. So when we started the gym in 2017, I was working full time, and
Yep.
we had less classes because our gym was just starting. We had morning and evening classes, so I used to coach in the morning, go to work all day, train a little bit before the evening classes, coach the evening classes, and train as much as I could in between on the weekends. So I used to coach a lot, and then since like 19, I started coaching less and less. And then 2020, when COVID hit, well, I stopped coaching. Like I
Yep.
went to zero because everything was closed. And by the time everything opened up again, like I just wasn't added to the schedule anymore. But
And you were focused
sometimes
on
I do
competing.
coach.
Do you ever
Yeah.
jump in classes just to take the normal class with your
Yeah, it
coaches?
happens more after comps. So like after
Okay.
the games, I'll do classes. I'll coach classes. Like if I feel like it, I'll just go in the gym and tell the coach like, "Hey, I'm coaching." So either enjoy or just do the class or whatever. So, like because I do enjoy coaching when like it's fun to see people progress. It's fun to see them move, and especially like after the games, after a big competition, it feels good for me to watch other people suffer because I've been suffering for so many months. So it's
Yeah.
just like it's a relief for me, and I like it. Like uh, there's no stress about it. But yeah, I do also do the classes, jump in the programming sometimes.
How many hours a day right now are you training?
Uh, s- Six, at least six.
Wow.
So 3, 4 in the morning, 2, 3 in the evening, something like that. Depends.
After the games, how much will that scale back to?
This year I'm not sure. So last year I took a month off.
Okay. Wow. Like when you say you
Like
took a month off, like is that not working out at all, or was that just doing one class a day?
no. So the first 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I did nothing. Like
That's
nothing,
awesome.
nothing. Because I we tried to go on vacation. We weren't able to because we had some media to do, and but I was here coaching, whatever. Like and we finally were able to leave, and then when I came back, I just started moving again. So on that 4 weeks, 2.5 to 3 nothing, and then the last week was like just try to move a little bit. It didn't feel so good, but just at some point you got to start again because otherwise like it's not going to feel better a week later or a week before. So yeah, that was last year, but this year the off season is going to be a bit different. So I think we're going to take a little bit less time. We're still going to take enough so I feel ready mentally to go back into training, but we have the Waterpalooza SoCal in September,
Okay.
and like I'm not planning on being really in shape by then, but I would like to be able to do a muscle up. So that's the goal. And then we have Rogue in November, which I would like to give a push for the win as well. So we're just gonna try and focus a little bit on that and take some real vacation after Rogue in November.
When's the September Wadapalooza one?
I think it's
Mid-September?
like 19th to
Okay.
23rd, something like
Isn't
that.
isn't it a team competition or is it also an individual piece?
It's going to be teams
Okay.
of 8, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so it's just going to be like a big showcase, which is awesome for us athletes because there's absolutely no pressure. Like I'm going there to have some fun, and I hope others are going for the fun as well. I mean, it's going to be in California, so we're going to be on the beach, and it's going to be awesome.
Teams of
Um,
8.
yeah, I think so.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's crazy. I got to check out the format. I got to talk to Dylan and pick his brain on what they're doing.
yeah.
All right, well, I'll let you get back to training, but before I do you have any questions for me or anything you want to ask?
Yeah. Ah, questions, yes and no. I mean, we're all very curious on what the game's going to look like. I think for me, the biggest thing is like how many workouts are we going to do outdoors.
Hmm.
Usually,
Well,
weather doesn't stress me out as much, but for some reason, our summer is not super hot.
yeah,
Because usually in Montreal, we get some pretty decent heat and a lot of humidity. So I was like, oh, I'll be fine for Fort Worth. Like it's going to be hot, I know, but
yeah.
it's not as hot here, and it is hot as heck over there. So I'm just nervous about how much outdoors and indoors we're gonna do because
What do
indoors
you what do you
isn't
think?
is
Indoors completely fine. It's air conditioned. It's
yeah, it's air
nice.
conditioned, so that's
Yeah,
fine. Like
it's indoors is nothing. How many outdoor events do you think there will be?
so, you guys announced the Friday evening, so we're doing something there, and I'm
Yep.
guessing we will use the track. There's no reason for us to go there and not use the track, so that's good for me. I'm happy about that.
Oh, did you
I'm
recently
guessing
run what did you recently run for your
I
mile?
tested my mile,
And what
one
was
mile
it?
for time, 4:56.
Damn, that's fucking
Yeah.
fast. That's awesome.
I'm curious how many games athlete at the moment have a sub 5 mile.
I bet you not many.
I'm guessing 3.
3? Okay.
Yeah.
Who?
Um, individually because 4 with the teams because
Yeah.
I know Noah Olson always has a sub 5 minute mile.
Yeah, don't count the
But
teams, just
I think
individuals.
yeah, Ricky must have it, and then some other guy like one of the rookies that we
Yeah,
don't know,
yeah, yeah,
someone in there.
exactly.
Maybe Yele host
Okay.
has a five
Okay.
minute mile.
Okay.
Yeah. That's hard. That's freaking hard. Like, cause I'm not trained for a 5 minute mile at all.
Yeah.
And Chris was like, "Okay, we're testing the mile this morning." I'm like, "Come on!" Like, I'm ready for 3K, not 1.5. But
That's
yeah,
awesome.
so I'm guessing there's gonna be one more outdoor. So the one on Friday night,
Okay.
and one more like one. I would love like a long run with a long ass bike, like
Yeah.
something like
Yep.
long, because we haven't gone long since what the marathon row,
Yeah, I mean,
like
and that was
long.
really, really long. Yeah,
That was
exactly.
really that's maybe too long, but
Yeah.
what else? Like the 2K 21K that was Kalipa time, so 13,
Yeah. Yeah.
14.
A
Like
while
what
ago.
else?
Yep.
Like we did the capital was what 40 minutes, 30 something minutes. Like we're always around that 30 40 minutes, but it's been a while since we went above an hour. That'd
Yeah,
be
that's
interesting.
true. That's true.
That'd be interesting. And also outdoors because going an hour inside the stadium is just impossible.
It's hard
So,
for sure.
well,
Yeah.
unless we sit on an erg, but that's not very
For
like
3 hours.
it's not a good show. The
No,
poor fans are
I
just gonna
enjoyed
hate
it.
it.
I thought it was fun. But yes, like not all the time, but just once. It
Yeah,
was actually surprising how engaging the 3 hour because they had the little
yeah.
boats going back and forth.
I did. So I got forced to do that after the games did it because that was 2018. That was the year I didn't qualify for the games, and Carol was like, "Oh, I want to see where you stack up against the games athlete." I'm like, "Why?" That
And
was
what'd
so
you get?
horrible.
You must have been
I
sub
did,
3.
yeah, I did 2:53,
Damn,
something
that's
like that.
solid.
So it
Yeah.
was kind of competitive, but I would never do it again.
Unless
You'd
we
have to
had you
pay me
do
a
it
lot of
again.
money.
All right, Jeff. Well, thank you. I
Awesome.
appreciate the
Thank you.
time and have a good rest of your day. And I'll see you in
Yeah.
a few weeks.
See you in a month.